Hi, my name's Gary Jobs, and today we're here at the Operating Engineers Training Site in Maple Ridge. And what we're going to discuss today is a pre-trip for a 140H motor grader. Now, what do we need for this pre-trip? We need an operation and maintenance manual. Without this manual, we cannot do our pre-trip because this shows where all our components are and how to check them. Where do we find this? We find this in the operator's seat, right in behind it. And we need to find this to ensure that we do a complete and thorough pre-trip inspection. If you can't find yours, talk to your supervisor. Tell them that you need it. The other thing we need a checklist. This one was printed from the Caterpillar website, and you can do the same thing, download it, and then you have a good, thorough pre-trip checklist. Now, why you need this checklist? This allows you to check off and document any potential problems that you see on the machine or anything that you could see that you should be brought to a supervisor's attention. Where I like to do my pre-trip, I like to start in one corner of the machine, particularly the left backhand side of the machine, and I like to start from here and work my way all the way around. This ensures that I check all the components that I need to, and I give the machine a thorough check. Starting up here, the radiator is in the back of the machine, and the access to the radiator is at the top. So for this particular model, we need to go up on top, and we need to open up the latch and then open up the radiator. Again, don't do this if the machine has been hot and has been running. Again, you want it to cool down. Then you can remove the radiator cap and look inside and see the fluid level in there. This machine has air brakes, and this is the bleed valves for the air brakes. At the end of the shift, we want to open it up. This allows the air and moisture to be drained from the tanks. And then at the end of the shift again, after we do that, we want to shut them off. The reason for that is in the wintertime, if it's cold, if we leave them open, they could freeze and we couldn't shut them off and we can't build air pressure in the morning. So at the end of your shift, you want to open it up and then you want to shut them off again after that. Over here we have our fuel tank. Even though we may have filled up at night, we want to make sure that we check that first thing in the morning in case of vandalism or in case we forgot to put the fuel cap back on at the end of the night. And if it rains overnight, moisture got in, that could be a potential problem. Over here we have our air intake cleaner. We want to check that screen up in here, make sure there's no debris or any leaves or anything like that that will obstruct the intake for the air. Here we have our air filter and our air filter indicator. The air filter indicator, it shows if there's a restriction to the air filter. A plunger moves up inside here, indicating how severe the restriction is. If it hits the red line over here, that's severe restriction, and we need to have a look at that air filter. The way we do this is we take our maintenance and manual, and we take a look and see what the procedure is to remove that filter and have it cleaned. Once that's done, we reset it, the button's on the bottom here, and we can reset this indicator and we can move on from there. Now, over here we have our engine oil check. This is our dipstick here. This machine in particular, the oil can be checked in two different ways, one with the machine running and one with the machine off. The instructions for that are imprinted on the dipstick. So for your particular model, you have to refer back to your operation and maintenance manual to see how you got to check your machine. Some machines are stopped and some machines can be checked while it's running. Again, we want to do a good visual check in here, ensure that there's no damaged hoses, no loose parts, no leakage, no oil, coolant, or anything that would be leaking out in here that could cause a potential problem. Over here we have our hydraulic tank, and in particular here's our viewing glass to show what the level is of our hydraulic fluid. As you can see, the hydraulic fluid is a little darker and there's a white background. So this shows that there's a good level in here, and if you can't see hydraulic fluid in that sight glass, don't start your machine. You have to contact your supervisor. It's very important that you make sure that there's hydraulic fluid showing in that sight glass. Again, It's the dark color is the hydraulic fluid with a white background, so it's easily identifiable. As we're going to do our walk around, we're going to take a look at our tires, in particular the bolts. We want to make sure that there's no bolts missing. If there is, we want to document it. With our tires, we want to check, make sure there's no rips and tears, especially on the top here. The blade can come back and hit the tire and tear the tire. Again, if we're taking it out on the road, we don't want a failure. Here we have the ladder. It's flexible. Even though it is flexible, the blade could come back and damage it. Most accidents happen when an operator is entering or exiting a machine. So we want to check the handholds, make sure they're all good, and that there's no problems, and also too, make sure that the stairs aren't damaged. Same with the door latches. We want to make sure that the door latches are holding. If this door comes loose, it can be damaged by a tire. It could come up and hit the door on rough ground. Okay, so on the blade here, we have wear strips. The wear strips are located inside here. Now, how do you check the wear strips? The wear strips, you have to actually take a visual and look along in here, and you can see in through the side. You can see what the wear strip is and how thick it is. Now, there's different locations for the wear strips. They're on each side of the blade and at the bottom. But for your particular machine, you have to look on your operation and maintenance manual to see exactly the location of your wear strips. Up on the circle, we have a wear strip, and it looks similar to this, and it actually fits in between these two pieces of metal on this circle, and that's what's wearing inside here, so that you don't have metal on metal. It's actually the brass. This is actually what the the metal is actually rubbing on. So this is meant to wear, not this. Here's another wear strip that's in the inside, and it's curved and it sits inside underneath, and you have to actually physically go underneath and take a look from the inside. That's how you check this one. Just be aware of it and take a look at your operation and maintenance manual, that you are aware that there are wear strips in there that need to be checked. As we're doing our walk around and our pre-trip, we want to take a look at the hoses, make sure there isn't a wear or tear in the hoses. Hoses generally that are together will rub, and they can cause a failure in the hose in there. Again, we want to take a look where hoses that come together and that may rub. As we're going along, we're taking a look at all the fittings, making sure there's no bolts missing with the cylinders. We want to make sure that there's no oil dripping down here, that a seal has failed. If there is something like that, we need to document it on our pre-trip checklist. Again, checking the hoses. Everything else looks good. Everything's good. Hoses all are good here. Again, with the front end, we want to check all the fittings and all the front end here. Make sure there's no loose parts or damaged or bent. Tires, we want to look at our tires, make sure the tires are all in good shape. Everything looks good here. Air pressure, if the tire needs to be checked, we start to notice that a tire is a little low. We want to refer back to our operation and maintenance manual on what the tire pressure specification should be for the tire. So, as we're going around, checking, no damage, checking the front end, no damage, everything is looking good. So, tires are looking good, no damage, all the bolts are here, everything is looking good. So, hoses, front end, fittings, everything looking good. All this, good. Okay, the cutting edge. This cutting edge is designed to wear and be replaced as it wears down. You have to make sure that the cutting edge doesn't wear down so far as that you're running into the mold board. Now, it's really important that you keep on top of that. You're not going to be popular if you wear out your mold board. Very expensive to replace. This is meant to be replaced. Also, we want to make sure that we take a good look along the cutting edge and that it's straight. You can't do a fine grading job if the cutting edge is up and down or wavy. So take a look at it, and also, if you're not sure of how far you can wear this down, refer back to your operation and maintenance manual. Here's another wear strip on this side of the machine. This is where the other location of the wear strip, and we have another wear strip down at the bottom. So just keep that in mind of where your wear strips are on your machine and that you do check them. Again, we're looking at the cylinders. They're all good. Everything is good. Hoses are all good. We want to take a look at the glass, that it's not broken or damaged. Same with windshield wipers. We want to look at the lights. Make sure that your lights are all good. Same thing with this windshield wiper blade. You want to make sure that they're all working and are in good shape. If your windows are dirty, get some glass cleaner, have them cleaned. You need good visibility. Same thing here. Latches are all good. Handholds are good. Stairs are good. Got to make sure we check everything. Latch is good. Glass is good. So, again, we're back to our tires. Tires are looking good. In this compartment here, we have our transmission. This is how we check our transmission. If you pull out the transmission dipstick, it will tell you, it's imprinted on the dipstick on how to check this transmission, whether the machine needs to be in park or if it needs to be running. So, if you're not sure, refer back to your operation and maintenance manual. Again, and here in this compartment, we want to check. This is a fuel injected system in here. We don't want to have any leaks. We have an exhaust system right here, and it could ignite and cause a fire. So we're looking for any type of leaks, oil, hydraulic, fuel leaks, or anything like that. Here we have a separator. This is a fuel water separator. At the bottom of this bowl here, if you start to notice a clear liquid in there, that's usually water. So what you need to do is you need to open up this valve here, drain it into a portable container, and dispose of it properly, and then tighten that back up. But this is your separator, and it needs to be looked at. On the newer machines, it's done electronically, and it shows up in your console. On this one, it's a manual check, so you need to come back. If you have a problem with it, mark it down on your checklist. Your exhaust pipe, you need to take a look at your exhaust pipe. Make sure that it's not broken or bent, and that carbon monoxide doesn't come back into your cab. Same with your rotary beacon at the top. You want to make sure that you're checking your rotary beacon, that it's not been damaged or broken. Again, we're checking our lights as we work our way around. Tires again in the back, looking for any damage. Now, as we come to the back of the machine, we want to really take a look at the belly pan in here and on the ground around this area. We want to make sure that we don't see any fuel, any oil, hydraulic oil, transmission oil, and we really want to take a look at the ground and everything. We really need to take a look and make sure that there's nothing leaking from this machine. If there is, again, we want to do a further investigation. Where's that oil or coolant coming from? As we get around to the back of the machine, we're checking our backup beeper, and that's all good. Checking the turn signals, brake lights, everything's all working good, everything's looking good. So, this machine did well on its pre-check, everything looks good, so we mark it all down, we have no issues, and we're ready to go out onto the job site. So, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope to see you on our next video.